Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, and we're getting the most horsepower out of these naturally aspirated Boxer 4 and 6 engines. I'm wrapping up this season of the most powerful NA engine builds in the Aspirated update of Automation's version 4.3 with these two engines. So, for the Boxer 4 build, the first thing we gotta do is to go to the top left portion of the screen to maximize the year to 2020 for the family engine year. And if you selected the Boxer configuration Boxer 4 engine layout, for the block material, you must choose the aluminum heavy block material because the ability to upboard the engine as much as possible with good power density. For the bore, we increase this bad boy all the way up to 120mm for the family capacity, and for the stroke, increases a little bit to 91.2mm, which gets the engine size family capacity at 4,126 cubic centimeters, or 4.1 liters for the family capacity for right now. And the heads, we start off at a dual overhead cam 5 valves per cylinder, with the head material set to aluminum silicon because it's the lightest ones out of the other two of them. For the quality slider, if you do see one, just max it out to a plus 15 without any questions whatsoever. And right by the quality slider with the Sandbox Tech Pool, click on this to bring up the Sandbox Tech Pool window. And under Engine Tech, we maximize everything you see here, so starting with the engine in general to plus 15, the bottom end to 15, the top end max it out. You can do the aspiration if you want to, but for the fuel system, max it out, and for the exhaust system. If you got everything, or pretty much everything you got here, to this setting for the engine tech by maxing out as much as possible, click on Apply Changes, and we'll move on to the bottom end of the engine. So like I mentioned about the upburn part, under variant capacity in the bottom end section is, of course, we maximize this to 124mm by adding it to 4mm, which gets the true engine size right here of 4,405 cubic centimeters, or 4.4 liters with the Boxer 4. And the rest of the bottom end with the crank cowl rods, pistons, and everything. So for the crankshaft, it'll be made out of billet steel with the cowl rod set to titanium, with the piston set to forged heavy, and the balancing bass set to just a harmonic damper, and a counterweight slider right next to it. Maximize it to 100, which should apply up to 41.4 pounds of the counterweight after doing the quality slider. The compression is pretty much the usual with this season of engine builds, 16.0 to 1 ratio, cam profile at 100, the springs and lifters at a 59. This is pretty much like the frickin' magic number for all my other engine builds, including for this one, the other one I'm doing here. VVT at all cams, the engine RPM is set to 8,400 RPM. And skip over to turbocharger because it's naturally aspirated. I'll probably do the turbocharger and supercharger build once the Al Realma update comes out real soon. And for the fuel system, of course, it's direct injection with a throttle per cylinder configuration with a racing intake with the manifold size set for the slider up to an 85. The fuel requirement is good old nitromethane at 127 AKI, which is a top fuel and funny car dragster fuel. The unit timing margin right below this is you set this to an advanced setting by putting the slider all the way to the left, which should be at negative 5.0. The fuel map slider right over here is set it to a 30 as per usual. And finally, for the headers and the exhaust is that we must choose a tubular racing header with a single exhaust. Well, first of all, header size up to an... Hold on, we got an error here. Excuse me, manifold size is a 93. Correction, manifold size 93. And for the exhaust or header size is an 85. Okay, now we're correct. So, the exhaust size diameter will be set to 69.8mm or 2.75 inches as seen here, with no kinetic converters or mufflers, and bring up the quality. Okay, this is it. The horsepower rating for the Boxer 4 is at 1,906.5 horsepower at 8,400 RPM, with a torque rating of 1,192 pounds-feet of torque at 8,400 RPM. So with this engine here, pretty much the same thing with the rest of the other engines in this here season of naturally aspirated builds. The power and torque peaks at red line, and we got the cowl rods about to blow up at 96% of reliability reduction up in here as they're rated up to 6,300 RPM, but the engine does work here in automation as well in BeamNG Drive. If I improve the RPM limit by just one more click to 8,500 RPM while it increases power, the engine will fail because the cowl rods have failed due to excessive RPM, making this engine record here at 8,500 RPM invalid because the engine is broken. So now let's drop the RPM a little bit and get on with the Boxer 6 build. So with this here Boxer 6, the block material as per usual is aluminum silicon heavy, like the Boxer 4, and for the bore, Maxer on up, and the stroke 91.2 millimeters to get the engine size for family capacity, 6189 cubic centimeters, about 6.2 liters. A DUHC, 5 valves per cylinder, aluminum silicon for the head material. Max out the quality sliders, and for the tech pull, you know the drill, kind of like the Boxer 4 build. Boom. Upwards to 124 millimeters to get a true engine size of 6,608 cubic centimeters, or 6.6 liters with true engine size. And a crank. Billet steel, the con rods, titanium, and the piston forged heavy, harmonic damper balancing bass, Maxer on up, and Maxer on up. Compression, Maxer on up, cam profile, Maxer on up, springs and lifters, 59 as per usual like my other builds, VVT all cams, 8400 RPM. I swear to God, it's like the frickin' magic number for all my other engine builds, from this Boxer 6, 4, this and that, inlines, Vs, you name it. Okay, let's get this right. 93 for the manifold size. There we go, there we go. It's not 85 as what I once mistaken earlier at the Boxer 4. And Mr. Hooters. It's a tubular racing Hooter with an 85 on the header size, and this will remain a single exhaust, with its size set to 88.9 millimeters, which is 3.5 inches for the exhaust diameter for the Boxer 6 engine. No cats, no buffers, bring the quality, which will be at 2,863 horsepower at 8,400 RPM, of a torque rating of 1,790 pounds-feet of torque at 8,400 RPM. So, an increase of about 900 horsepower compared to the Boxer 4, and what's interesting, the power and torque rounds up to the nearest 10th as we get the exact power and torque ratings up in here. Now for this part of the video, I'll start with the Boxer 4 by doing a basic pull test and throw this here engine onto a car and drive it around the track rather than doing the fake gear shifts, which you really can't do so with the new Dyno screen of version 4.3 of automation. So let me go to Dyno screen with the Boxer 4, tear the engine apart, do a pull test, put it onto a car, and then come back to the Boxer 6, do a pull test, and same thing, put that into a car, and end it off from there. So for the Vaz 2106 and the Alpha Hangover as demonstrated, they may not be the best cars to put these powerful engines in, but who cares? It demonstrates that they work in automation as well in BeamNG Drive. So, with the Boxer 4 and Boxer 6, the specs of both engines are about the same. They have the same exact setup except for the exhaust size. Nevertheless, they are the most powerful, naturally aspirated engines in Automation's Ellsbury update. And seeing this is the last of the engines of this year's season, like I mentioned about going over to the turbocharged and supercharged engines, I'm gonna wait until the second automation update, aka the Alroma update, which is the supercharger update, which should come by maybe in the late summer or early fall of this year, 2024. Once that update drops, I'll probably decide either to start doing the turbocharged ones or the supercharged engines. So that'll do it with Automation, the Car Company Tycoon Games version 4.3. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.